like RPO after RPO after RPO. What sort of stress is that going to place on your secondary, and what do they have to do well against it?
We just got to be good at matching those guys outside, because they do a good job of the RPO and then shooting the ball down the field off of it. And then the quarterback can run the ball well as well. So we got to be disciplined. We got to make sure we match the outside down the field vertical game with that.
Is Josh back to practice now?
Yes. Yeah.
Do you expect him to start then, or to be determined?
Still to be determined. But we got him back. His practice is doing well.
So what about Jordan's skill set makes him a good fit in that big one?
Smart, tough. He's a physical player. He understands the game. He processes things well. He has good cover skills, and he brings some toughness and competitive discipline attitude to the secondary.
When you have a corner who can play that spot, how much does that guy have to be willing to tackle from that position, maybe more than outside?
A lot, and he will. He'll put his face in the fan. So that's what we like about him. I mean, like I say, he has some toughness about him. He has some physical play, very competitive, but he has an overall skill set, to cover, and he has a high football IQ.
How do you prepare your guys to against a team like this that is they're going to complete some passes? How do you prepare them for that? You will give up some passes.
Challenge all throws, man. We got to go play, and if quarterback is going to try to thread the ball, he trusts his arm strength. He's going to make those throws. We got to be attacking the ball at all time, and with that, hopefully we get some turnovers with that also.
So when you look at your corners as a whole, what you like that they've done, what do you think needs to be improved?
We just got to keep improving every week. Right now they are trying to attack the ball. They're tackling well, but we just got to, each week, man, is a different set of issues and things you got to deal with. So we got to keep taking it one day at a time and create consistency, communication, and those things. So we just got to keep gelling and create the chemistry that we want to get with the group.
Are you sort of at a point now where Denzel and Davidson are outside and Jordan is in the slot? That's kind of their role?
A little bit, but we still move it around a little bit, man. Like you said, it's forever changing, you know what I mean? But that's kind of how it is right now, a little bit. But Jordan will work outside as well. We'll be moving guys around. We just have to always find the right mix. And, sometimes that things change based on who you're playing.
Malachi Corley led the nation in yards after catch last year when they're going up against the guy like that. What are the points of emphasis?
We got to make sure we're tackling well. You know what I mean? The ball is out quick. I mean, he's good with run out the catch, so we have to make sure we're driving on the ball. We're wrap tackling with him. He's a big guy. You know what I mean? He's 210 pounds, so we got to, they move him around. He'll be in different locations. We got to know where he's located, and we got to make sure we wrap tackling well, and we got to make sure we're contesting all the throws because we know they're going to try to get him the ball.
You guys have tackled pretty well at that position. How do you feel so far about corner tackling?
It's been good so far, man, but, like each week, man, got to keep doing it every day, different set of challenges. They move guys around. It's a spread offense. They're a wide open tempo team, so we have to be ready to make sure we can match their energy with the different looks they're going to give us.
Tim, when you're facing a receiver like that who's kind of the focal point of what they do, what is your philosophy on traveling corners with that player, or you just, wherever he lines up, that guy's got it?
We'll mix it up, man. We got to give them different looks. That's the thing we have to do. I think the quarterback is a sharp player. He got a pretty good arm. We just got to create different looks for him. We may do a little bit of both just to try to keep him off. And then, like I said, it all depends on how the game is going, whether we need to match or we're good. And it all depends on where they're putting it. They're moving him around enough, too, so we just kind of got to adjust that as the flow of the game goes.
Sounds like Western Kentucky has your attention and nobody's thinking about next week.
No, I'll never think about next week, man. You got to take care of the guy. This is a good offense, football team. So we got to make sure we go take care of business, and we got to be on all the fine details of executing a high-octane offense.
You have physical corners. What is the balance or the line between using that physicality but not letting it cross the line to the other?
Yeah, guys usually handle that pretty good for the most part. We're gonna teach the competitive nature. There's a physical game. You gotta be on the edge. So our guys do that, and we'll be smart about it. You gotta obviously third downs and certain down and distances dictate. Now you have to play, but you want to be aggressive. You want to be physical, and you want to be making sure you're making your presence known.
when you played, how much did you like playing against quarterbacks who thought they could make every throw and fit it in every week?
Well, it was good, and you liked it because what happens is sometimes they'll throw it in the coverages that they may should not. But at the same time, they can make throws as well that usually other guys can't get in there. But you get playoffs. You get play opportunities in that. So we just got to go do our job and make sure we're disciplined in our coverage responsibility and make sure we're keeping that ball inside in the front.
What's it like in the corner room for a week when you're building up to a team like this that's going to throw it around as opposed to you're getting ready for a physical team that's going to run the ball? Like jacked up for this week?
Yeah, just different. You never know how the flow of the game goes. The ball, we got to be ready to tackle as well because, when you're throwing the ball quick in the screen game, that's nothing but, outside perimeter run game. When they're throwing the bubbles and throwing the ball on the edge of the perimeter, that's outside run game in reality. So they're just using that as a substitute for outside zone and stretch plays. So we got to make sure we'll be involved in the tackling game as well. And then they'll sprinkle in enough runs, man. With the running back does a good job that we got to be ready for that. And he will bounce the ball on the perimeter.
Which quarterback are you guys using to replicate this week?
We do both of them, man. We moving guys around, with that because of the fact that you got to have different looks. Some guys run the ball a little better at practice, and some guys throw it. So we try to keep them fresh, and get our D-line a good look with guys moving around. So we moving on both of the guys around.
Is that a little bit unusual that you've had to use two this week as opposed to most weeks you can prepare with just one scout look? Or?
Yeah, well, you do it. It's week to week. It all depends on who you're playing. Some guys have big arms. Some guys are real mobile. So it kind of changes each week on how you got to operate with the look team.
Tim, maybe you were asked this already, and I apologize for asking it again if I am. What aspects of Western Kentucky's passing game could present some real issues for your guys out there on the edge or even on the inside?
Oh, well, they spread out, man. They give you every look that's imaginable. They spread it out. They push the ball down the field vertically. They're a tempo team. The quarterback has a good arm. Quarterback does a good job of looking guys off. He's a seasoned guy. So, they create, and they like to vertically push the ball down the field, and they'll run 4 and 5 wideouts at times. So they do enough to keep you honest. And then he moves around pretty well himself. He runs around. He can scramble. He can extend plays. So we just got to do a good job of being disciplined.
Is that hard to prepare for a 4 or 5 wide set when you don't see that a lot in the Big Ten?
It's a little different, but that's part of the game, man. You gotta adjust and go play ball. I think that's what comes down to the preparation, discipline, understanding the game, and you gotta go execute. They're gonna still try to run the ball as well. They'll motion out and put the guys back in the backfield and run the ball. So they just try to create different looks, but they'll do enough of running that you have to be prepared for because it's coming from a spread set.
How do you think Denzel's looked and felt through the first 2 games?
I think he's doing well. He's been consistent, been disciplined, taking the game at a time. We take it a day at a time, really, on our approach to it. We're just trying to stack the days of preparing and being a little bit better than we were yesterday. So he's working at it, and he's focused and dialed in, man, on trying to be better every day and understanding how teams are going to try to attack us.
Defense lost leverage a few more times this week than they did against Indiana. How much of a topic of conversation has that been this week? How spread out you guys are going to be?
Oh, yeah, we got to keep the ball inside. We got to leverage the defense. That's the emphasis every week. People get to it different ways. Sometimes it's with the back, sometimes it's with tight ends, the wide outs. That's just a fundamental base of our defense is, to keep the cup on the ball. Just teams get to it different ways. We got to make sure we handle that this week.
Tim, you may have already talked about Jordan Hancock before I got here, before I rolled up in here, but what have you seen that you really like out of him the first 3 weeks, the first 2 weeks?
Toughness, physicality, high football IQ, can cover in the slot, but brings a tenacious attitude. He'll put his face in the fan in the run game. So he gives you a complete player in there. And he understands, with being a high football IQ guy, things happen fast, but he can handle the thinking of it.
Has he embraced that slot, slot thing? When did the light come on for him, from your vantage point?
Training camp. Yep.
Because it was a way to get on the field.
Yep. Training camp was is involved. The middle spot is involved a lot. You're in the middle of the action, so it's good for him.
These last couple of years, you guys have had, going back to Denzel, had to throw 2 freshmen onto the field early in games in big ways. What you're getting to do now with Calvin and Jermaine, is that maybe a more conventional approach to this? Are they getting to develop at their own speed?
Yeah, they both coming. Yeah, they both coming at their own time. You know, Jermaine got a little bit of playing time, you know, like 10, 12 plays last week. They both coming in their own ways, man. You know, we just keep growing them, and, you know, we try to prepare them each week because you never know when that number's called, man. You know, you have last year, you can all of a sudden be thrust into 25, 30 plays before you know it, so we got to prepare like that. So when the opportunity comes, they're ready to go.
Tim, Jordan was saying that first pick that Denzel had can be infectious and then work and come from that. When you were a player and as long as you coached, is that the way these things can happen, the takeaways?
Yeah, you know, it just gives you a little confidence, you know what I mean? So if the group feeds off of, you know, other guys now trying to have urgency to get theirs, you know, so makes them feel good, makes them feel like they want to, you know, be a part of that. So they really detail their stuff with trying to go get the ball, and when the playoff comes, be able to make the play. So it's a thing that we're looking to improve on from last season.
Coach, thank you so much. Lorenzo play this past week. Was that a matter of trying to save his red shirt?
Was that?
Lorenzo, we didn't see him play last week. Are you guys still looking at possible saving?
We're just trying to take a week at a time, man, and see how things play out.
Thank you.